Thank you so much for tuning into my show, William Wallace for America. In this episode, I have a very good friend with me, James Van Pruin. As you all know, one of the things I love to do is find out ways to help veterans. And teaming up with James Van Pruin with something he is working on, I think is not only going to help veterans, but something that I think everybody else needs to know about. James Van Pruin, tell us about Military Creator Con.
Awesome. Thank you so much, William. I'm really excited to be able to talk to you again. I don't know if you remember, a little over a year ago, we did this very thing for going into last year and, going into Military Creator Con our last year when we did it with Podfest. So it's super full circle and cool to be able to come back on and talk more about Military Creator Con and kind of where we're at now and all the exciting things we got planned for this year. A new location, as you know, it's going to be in Dallas, or I say Dallas, Texas area, but the Arlington, specifically Arlington, Texas, just outside of, between Dallas and Fort Worth. We got a super packed lineup we've got 4 different rooms during both Friday and Saturday with sessions with all different kinds of topics. We have panels, we have speakers, we have a casino night. We're going to raffle off some cool stuff on the Friday night. That'll be a fun kind of networking point. And then on Saturday, more sessions and lunches are provided with the ticket. So everybody will kind of be at the hotel. It's at the Hilton in Arlington. And then we're going to close it out with a pretty cool closing party. At the mayor of Arlington, Texas is a Marine veteran and has a kind of a speakeasy club called Hearsay. So we're going to have the whole place to ourselves. And we got a comedy show. We've got some cool things planned. It's sponsored by the Crow's Nest. It's a cool military organization that is, going to kind of be talking a little bit there and hanging out with us. Then we have a whiskey cigar kind of close out at the end of that party to really, kind of network and I know you love good whiskey and bourbon, so that'll go well with cigars. So that's what we got planned.
That's exactly right. I love me a good bourbon. So where did it used to be? You said that this is the first time where did it used to be?
Mm-hmm. So as you know, which is actually cool, Chris Kremitsos founded a conference called Podfest. I was fortunate enough to be helping him do some business events locally in Tampa, Florida when I was retiring from the military. Started helping him as they started Podfest. In 2019 going into 2020, we did some microcons, or Podfest did microcons, and we did Military Creator Con as a microcon. Myself and a few other people organized and put that together. That was actually the year, in a cool way, that I met you. So we did it as like kind of a one-day event. So we had our own speakers and things like that, our own kind of sub-community to some degree.
Right.
Definitely podcast new media related. And we've expanded over the last couple of years to be kind of all creators and creatives, the whole creative process. I mean, we like to talk about the military is the space that came up with the internet itself, with GPS and technologies like that. So, and you continue to push the envelope of what's possible in the world. So, we want to bring like-minded creative people together in one place. And so it used to be in Tampa. I'm sorry, it used to be in Orlando with Podfest as of last January. This year, next month. Well, I say next month, and a few weeks from now, because we're now in April. In April 16th through the 18th, we're in Arlington, Texas, both this year and next year for the conference. So super, super happy about where we come. We have almost 40 sponsors collectively. We've got some pretty cool companies represented. AFES, if people know what that is, a military company, company that provides services on a bunch of different military installations worldwide and deployment areas as well. We have the VFW both national and Texas is sponsoring. We've got I hate to start the list because I don't want to leave ones out, but
yeah, exactly. There's like 40 people there for what you said. But before I continue, I want to remind everybody that today's show is brought to you by Patriot Mobile. If you want to be able to find some competitive rates and maybe even a company that has better coverage because they use all 3 carrier lines and support the veterans, because Patriot Mobile supports veterans. They offer veterans discounts. They do a lot of things for the veterans and veterans organizations. So Patriot Mobile is a great company to support So switch your cell phone service to Patriot Mobile by going to patriotmobile.com/WWFA. It supports my show, and it gives it helps support them and helps them support veterans. So James, what do you think Military Creator Con does to help veterans?
Yeah, I love that you asked that, and I definitely want to say, I did 20 years in the Air Force. My heart is definitely in the military space, but I think it's not. We've found out through the years by doing this conference in the past that there's a lot of people that want to do more stuff with the military community. A lot of people might have everybody around them, sons and daughters and relatives that were in the military. So we want to really bring the community together, whether they're active duty military, whether they're past military, whether they're family members of the military, and kind of bring all of us together in one place as a community. And sounds a little bit cliche-ish. And, I think when you get creative people together, it kind of pushes what we can do together collectively and be more creative. So, that's really at the heart. We definitely a big part of this year, we're highlighting, which we did a little bit last year. Of course, AI is a bigger thing, and that technology continues to, just snowball and kind of be such a big thing, right? For people kind of everyday lives. But, we want to talk about how that we have a lot of different people speaking on that have been in that space for a while. So we have that'll be kind of the main stage with podcasting, both podcasting and new media. And AI, but also, again, talking about creative processes and category design a little bit. Christopher Lockhead, we're fortunate to have him he's going to be doing a session on Thursday, a kind of a business intensive, but also he'll be the opening kind of fireside chat keynote on Friday. So we got a lot of different people that have been doing some pretty cool things for a long period of time that'll be kind of giving us all their background and expertise, and just people at all different levels and using, so many different tools and processes to do the different creative things that they are in, both whether it's in entrepreneurship or, in their kind of hobbies sometimes, or things that they want to take from a hobby to a thing, and I think
go ahead.
No, and I think when I was kind of coming out too, there's not a lot of places or even talked about, I didn't consider myself a creative person, probably to some degree in a weird way. And, when you think about podcasting and coming up with your own show and what kind of format will be, and just kind of making a community where there maybe isn't one, or seeing a need and filling that need. I mean, those are all creative endeavors. And I continue to be kind of learn from other people that are doing similar things or doing things I hadn't thought of, and maybe in a different space that we can all kind of learn from each other.
So I answered the question the first time about what you're doing to help veterans. You brought together, you told us the story about bringing people together, bringing families together, creative content on the military space idea. And I love that. Do you think that a veteran going to Military Creator Con, I mean, like, what if they don't want to start a podcast, or maybe they want to start a podcast? How do you think bringing them to this event will help them, whether they're going to create a podcast or not? What are things that they might be doing?
No, I love that question. So I definitely want to say, to kind of further answer your question, even about what we do for veterans, is I think putting people all in a place, in a community, to where sometimes it can feel lonely and isolated if you are kind of doing, sometimes you're like, am I the only one having this problem, or, facing this difficulty, or I have no idea what to do next in this area.
Right.
And I think being around other people, that it's like, wow, I'm not the only one. Here's all these other people, because again, I kind of remember back to, I deployed quite a bit in my military career, and, I remember, had so many people that could, maybe do really well at writing, or, musicians or comedians. There were so many kind of cool little things that people would do in their off time, or, while we were kind of hanging out, and, maybe there wasn't much going on and you had a little bit of downtime. You could just see so many people's creativity, but there wasn't always a path. It's like, okay, how can I take this thing and do something with it if this is what I want to do when I, transition even out of the military? and there's multiple ways you can kind of go after that, but I think collectively we want to bring a bunch of people together talking about different ways people have already done it and maybe some new ways that people are starting to do these things. And I think that's, you kind of have the old ways sometimes of doing things and what'll be the new things. And that's why when I kind of hit on AI, right, it's been around for a long time, but it's never been the ability to do the things we can do now. It's never been, kind of the way it is right now. And I think what podcasting was, when I started to kind of pay attention to it, or even just before it, right in the mid 2010 to 15 timeframe, or 2020, kind of in the early days, I think that's where we're at with AI. Will just really, is going to really revolutionize everything. So it's just an exciting time to be alive.
I keep hearing you bring up AI. So Military Creator Con, when I first started listening to it, I said, oh, wow, it's to help veterans create a podcast. But are you telling me that at this convention, it's not just going to be how to create a podcast, it's going to be how to use AI, and it's more of a creator helping bring veterans that have a creative side, whether they want to do a podcast, whether they want to do AI. So it's a way to help veterans. Is it a way of helping them cope, or is it just a way of getting them to be able to find ways to make money? So let's focus on that. How are you actually helping veterans, in this? Is there a service that you think you're offering for the veterans?
No, I love that question. And I think I think it's all those things. I think it's helping. It's definitely more than just, because I think very much the heart of our conference is podcasting. And, I think what goes along with podcasting is technology, specifically, definitely how fast, even in the last few years, technology is like where we are at with AI and the different tools and resources that is really helping in all spaces, but definitely in, podcasting. But it's not everybody's ready to do a podcast yet. Maybe not everybody would go to a podcast conference or to just a technology conference, but they would definitely come to a creator event where there's other people that are doing these different things, right? Where maybe there's people in the food space, and then there's comedians. Where's the crossover in these different, kind of sub communities, if you will, or areas, right? Whether they, how people maybe did filmmaking years ago and what they're doing now. There's probably a long range of where it was and where it is now and where it's going. So I think in all these different areas and spaces and industries, and when you talk about, definitely it's not for all entrepreneurship, but, definitely some creative entrepreneurs that are really thinking, I hate to say outside the box because that gets used a lot, but, thinking like, here's what's a different way, what's a new way, what's a better way, how can we adjust and adapt? I think all these things are what we're really capturing. And, we talk about it could be a woodworker, there could be a jewelry designer, there could be a comedian, there could be
so you're really looking
author.
to find with this event, again, I thought it was just for people who wanted to create content on podcasts or videos. You're really looking to find a way to help veterans, whether they want to create content, or is it maybe a form of therapy? I don't want to say this is a therapy session, but veterans seem to need to find a way to help get them through things. They've been dedicated to our country, so they are, they're used to giving service to their country. Now they find themselves retired or out of service, and they just need something to do. So you're saying, look, we have a way to help veterans, whether it's build a business, whether it's cope, whether it's therapy, whatever way it may be able to find a way to help make their lives more productive and giving them their meaning back. I don't mean that in a negative way. I just know that what you hear about is a lot of veterans, they serve our country, they get out, and they kind of don't know where to go next, but they find that maybe I have a talent. Is that kind of another bridge you guys are working on?
Yeah, I think absolutely. And I think I didn't quite answer that part of it. Is I think a lot of the areas we talked about, whether it be comedy as an outlet, whether it be, writing as an outlet, whether it be, a musician, like these different avenues, or, and I guess I'm a podcaster at heart, right? Like I've fell in love with it years ago. I love everything about it, and that's a tool and a resource that goes along with some of these things. Cause I obviously believe strongly that, no matter what someone's doing, there's usually a way. You already know this, that I advocate for, kind of having that voice. You're having kind of an outlet using a podcast to be the, because it's definitely kind of almost like your own TV channel or media outlet, right? And
Right.
I think we've seen in the recent, through different things that happen in the United States, there, with the elections and things like that, and I can't, I've watched commercials and sports, we're just kind of coming through the Big Ten. I'm sorry, the tournament, the March Madness tournament, and like there was an AT&T commercial and a Buffalo Wild Wings commercial. Both of them, literally, the commercial is around podcasting. So I really am always excited about seeing where we at with technology and with podcasting being mainstream. So I definitely want to make sure it's clear that podcasting will always be a very big part of Military Creator Con, but I think it's just one part. So I think no matter where people are at and where they're at with what they want to do and what they're doing, of course, to cope with their service or lingering effects of things, I think a lot of us are all over the place of that on that journey. And I don't think it's like all of a sudden one day you just wake up and everything's is different and fine, so to speak. But I think it's using these tools and resources and being around other people that have gone through similar things, and they're like, here's what's working for me right now and today and best practices and things like that.
Right.
So I think, as I said earlier, there'll be these different rooms with different kinds of talks. We have a lot of different speakers. We're excited to have the support that we've had, but also, I mean, there were several people that have had huge businesses, have done, all different things in media and in, their careers, whatever kind of track they've been on in their past life, in their career, and then their path right now. That there's plenty of people that could literally speak multiple days on these things, just and they do around the world, and they'll be there just for these 2 days with us. So there's so much that people can get from this and take away. So we're definitely helping kind of all of what you're asking. So I think if someone has, hey, I want to do this thing, but I don't know how to do it yet, or I've kind of done it a little bit, but I want to do it better. I think there'll be something for everyone. And that's been our focus as a team is, to have something to where no matter where someone's at, whether they're a beginner in what they're doing, whether they're kind of medium, kind of halfway through kind of their thing, or if they're really kind of advanced in their field or in their craft or in their thing, that they'll be able to get something. Every single person will be able to have a takeaway from the different things that we're discussing and that we're.
Do you have any examples of talks or whatever that are going to be happening there that people can kind of get into?
Absolutely. So I know, again, I kind of talked earlier. So definitely there's people that some of their day-to-day businesses and systems and processes revolve around embracing, and I hate to keep going back to the AI, but like they are really pushing the envelope and leading in that space and in their day-to-day, and have embraced that. So I think there'll be, there's some individual talks. There's I know there's a wellness panel to where there's some people that'll be talking about, you had mentioned earlier about the whole kind of, I'm trying to remember how you worded it, but like where they're having a hard time or where they're wanting to cope with some of the things they're going through. I think for specifically a couple of people that I'm thinking of that'll be on this panel that kind of deal with this one retired, I think he was retired, but this one pilot and co-founded a company to where they're using things from bees in a product. We'll have some samples at the location, but they'll also be talking on a panel about, what some of these healing properties are and some techniques and things for people to use in their daily life. So, there's that's just some things I can think of off the top of my head. Of course, podcasting, there will be different people talking about, kind of what's working right now for them and kind of past, present, and future of podcasting. There's definitely, again, on the creative side, as you know, Mara, my wife Mara is very heavily involved in planning, but she built a big jewelry company. And her mom is a famous artist, and her stepdad was a lead animator at Disney. So with her background, she definitely will be speaking there and involved on that side. But talking about the creative process, kind of past, present, future of what people used to do to kind of come up with these creative ideas and come up with new ideas, and then kind of how in this newer, and again, I think it's hard to not talk about AI when it comes to that as well. Like as the human component sometimes is taken out of it and can be almost replicated by AI to some degree, where that balance is, I think will be talked about. So, if you go on the website, which is showing there, and all the sessions are there. So again, there's a lot of different people speaking on different things on different areas. So, but I think again, all of it around, of course, I talked about Christopher Lockhead will be talking about, so he kind of, him and some other people came up with this whole category design concept. He's coined the phrase CRM. So, we've got some people that have done a lot of really cool business things that will be talking about their experiences and, kind of what they're excited about right now in business, and, kind of talking about how different people can take where they're at right now and take that to another level. So, and again, too, I want to, we've been doing a lot of interviews with the people, not just myself and a few people on the team have been interviewing speakers and everything. So if you look on our YouTube channel, you'll already see quite a few of the people speaking. And I know when I interviewed the people I interviewed, I really kind of hit a little bit on what they'll be talking about. So, I think more if someone's really, kind of wanting to see, if you kind of look at the different kind of people and their backgrounds and what they're speaking on, I think it'll also become clear, for what they're looking for specifically.
So let's wrap up with what the websites are, where people can go, and your YouTube channel. And let's talk about that so people can start to see some of the content that you're putting out so they can kind of get prepared for what they can expect if they attend Military Creator Con.
Absolutely. So again, if you go to the website, all of our social channels are linked there, but Military Creator Con on all the YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, we can be found on all of those channels. A lot of the videos I was talking about are on YouTube, and the shorts are different, both on YouTube,
right.
And we put them on the different, if you go to our Instagram, you'll see a lot of these different clips of different things. And again, it's really exciting, but you just never know, not just the sitting in the sessions, right? But you already know before, which is how we know each other. It's talking to people kind of in between the sessions and at these parties. It's a very intimate setting. Like all of our rooms are really close. We have several vendor tables that'll be kind of in the hallway. We've got we're going to be doing live streaming. Ecamm is sponsoring our live. So we'll be going live each day at the event. And we'll have other places where people can do content and things like that. So it'll be a really fun, kind of thing where I think there'll be something for everyone. And, again, I want to reiterate, definitely a community feel. We want to, no matter how big we grow to, we want to make everyone feel like, they're seen, and they'll have, the ability to talk to the people. Like all of our speakers will be there, for quite a bit of the time, and all kind of in the same place. So, really excited about what we have this year. And again, I want to go back to the casino night. It's going to be really fun. We got the raffle. There's, some pretty big giveaways that we're giving. One being, my friend Mike Starr has put together a Blazing Star Barbecue has put together a pretty cool barbecue package. Companies like Jealous Devil Charcoal put in something to the raffle, Weber Grill. So we have a pretty big package we're going to be raffling off. Our biggest giveaway will be 4 tickets to a Boston Gardens game next season at the Boston Gardens, floor level seats. So we got some pretty cool things, that we'll be doing, and you definitely don't want to miss.
I love it, James. But I love the fact that you're bringing veterans together. You're finding a way to support veterans in other ways other than just sending them to. This is fun. Like a lot of veterans get sent to an organization that helps do treatment or whatever. It's kind of, it's kind of a way. I mean, of course, they need, for those who need that kind of help, but this is kind of a more fun way, a more interactive way, so that brings people together on a platform that not only helps them, I guess, express themselves, but also in a way that helps them, network with other people to be able to get them through civilian life. Is that, I guess it's the right way to put it?
Yeah, it's that. And I also want to add, it's those different resources and communities and groups of people that are actually helping in the military and veteran community. Some of those very entities are our sponsors. So, we want to definitely be the hub for getting the people to be aware of these programs and these different tools and resources and things that are available. So we've been fortunate to be given, so many people want to support and give back to the military community. And so we really want to be able to highlight those different things. And of course, obviously you can't do it without the people backing it and the sponsors. But again, we definitely want it to be a kind of a festival atmosphere, very much, learning and having fun doing it, and, deep relationships with people that you can kind of meet new people and further those relationships you already know, and then kind of go deeper with that. And we hope in the future, not just this year, but in the near future, when we have Military CreatorCon, that people come in early during the week and get together with their different groups and kind of cross reference what each others are doing, and really kind of dig into these different communities and do cool things and fun things. So it definitely should be a lot of fun.
I love it. James, thank you so much. Hang on there while I check us out and let everybody know. Thank you so much for not only listening to the podcast, but I'd be grateful if you share this with a veteran that you might think has a creative side in some way, shape, or form, that wants to find a way to be able to get involved in community with others that may be wanting to express themselves, if you will, in ways to find another career, even maybe. Either way, please share the episode. And I thank you so much for your time. I'm grateful for the time you're spending with us. And don't forget Patriot Mobile by going to patriotmobile.com/WWFA. James with Military CreatorCon, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, William. Again, appreciate you and everything you're doing, and appreciate your friendship.
Have a great night.